You sure do like to share your opinions, talking big like somebody's listening. Nobody's listening.
Max! Oh!
Hit the ignition. Now you listen. Hop up in the window. Smaller and smaller you fade down. Hop up in the window.
Hello, it's your boy Davidoff. Welcome back to AFL Tips Round 15. We're well into the bye rounds now. Collingwood have the chance to go clear. They got West Coast next, and both second and third of a bye round. So they could be in a very good position after round 15. After round 16, I mean, unfortunately. I've lost my voice. I've flipping had a... Anyway, just like last week, I got 5 out of 7. Which is not bad. It was really it was a rocky start, but from the Port Adelaide Sydney game, I got everything right. I decided to take one risk, and that was Sydney, and well, it paid off. It's just that I should have taken more risks. Clearly, the Lions have not won a GMHBA since 2003, and North Melbourne obviously winning any game is massive for them. Obviously, they won 4 games now, so they're starting to become more of a good team now. And they play well with their wins. Obviously, Carlton, this is the type of game Carlton could lose, and they did. Lions, though, very impressive. Very, very impressive from the Brisbane Lions. They were brilliant from start to finish. They managed that game so well, and to get their first win there since 2003 is a pretty big statement. Obviously, they beat them last year in a prelim at the MCG, which was huge as well. They were behind in that game. And they've beaten them since then regular season at the Gabba, but this is a whole different animal. GMHBA against Geelong is not an easy fixture most of the time. And they proved themselves against a team that, is clearly, I think them and Collingwood have been, they've been the best 2 teams so far. But the Lions came in and they said, you know what, we're here too. Remember, we're the Premiership winners, so fair play to them, and they got a great win. So maybe this could be their turnaround, because obviously the last few games have not been too good. They've been struggling a bit. So this is the sort of result that really turns your season around a little bit. To be fair, though, last year, most of the season, the Lions were not consistent. Most of the season. They had that win streak second half of the season, but first half of the season, they were very inconsistent. Even after that win streak, they had a few dodgy games towards the end of that regular season last year. In that finals game against Carlton, yes, they won comfortably, but they didn't look perfect. Against the Giants, they were 44 points down, but something clicked from that day. Something clicked. They came back, they beat the Giants, they beat Geelong from behind, then they smashed Sydney in the final. So they're definitely a team that reminds us that the Lions said, we can turn it on. We can still turn it on. Last year, most of the year, they weren't that consistent. They turned it on when they needed to. So them beating Geelong away, that was them turning it on again. It's a warning saying, we're not down and out just yet. Remember what we did last year. Anyway, round 16, here are my tips. I think Port Adelaide will beat Carlton. Obviously, they did lose at home to Sydney the previous week, but obviously Carlton lost at home to North Melbourne. Obviously a little bit different, because obviously Carlton and North Melbourne, they play in the same city, whereas Port and Sydney play in different states. But still, both teams lost at home. I just feel like after losing to North Melbourne, I think they could definitely lose to Port, especially Adelaide Oval. Port have not been very good this season either, but I genuinely think they can take them. So I'm going to go Port by 10. I predict it will be a close game. Sydney Western Bulldogs. Obviously, Sydney just beat Port Adelaide. They should be full of confidence, especially at home. Do I have the cojones to tip them? I think not right now. I think not. I could be wrong. I could be very wrong. But I've seen enough from the Bulldogs to think they can beat anyone below them. Their main struggle is beating teams in the 8, not beating teams below them. Beating teams in the lower half of the table, they normally do it comfortably. They normally hit a lot of points. They hit over 100 points like 6 times a season or whatever. They're high scorers, they're a good attacking team, and they turn it on more against teams below them. So I think they can beat Sydney. But I'm starting to think with Sydney winning, they might have the confidence to do something. But I'm tipping the Bulldogs. Gold Coast to beat Melbourne. Gold Coast obviously fallen off now into 9th. They were quite high up at one point. Against the Giants, they pretty much choked. The Giants had 24 less inside 50s, I believe. And they had 13 inside 50s in the last quarter, GWS. And they scored 8 of them. 8 of them were goals. So they came back right at the end. I think the Giants scored 16 goals that game, and half of those were in the last quarter. So the Gold Coast Suns actually played well most of that game. But they couldn't finish the job because the Giants came up with the blitz. So, yeah, but now they find themselves 9th with... Well, there's still plenty of time left in the season to change things, but they need to start picking up wins against big teams ASAP, because now they're down here. It needs to be a wake-up call for them, because obviously they had a pretty good start to the season. Then again, most of their wins were against games that were winnable. Games that were winnable. But I think they'll beat Melbourne. Even though Melbourne did beat them away last year, I believe. I think they'll beat Melbourne, though. Hawthorn v North. I predict Hawthorn, but I think the game might be closer than people think. Obviously, rivalry is one thing, but after North's win against Carlton, I think they'll come into that game with confidence. We'll have the bye round, so we were rested up. We had our break. That might help us, but it could help North. Sometimes playing every week helps you. So there are some teams that play better when they don't have a bye round. Sometimes bye rounds derail a team's season. I'm going to tip Hawthorn, but I think this game might be very close. And I'm a little bit worried that North might pull something off. Collingwood West Coast. Collingwood to win. To increase the lead in the ladder. No-brainer for me, really. Even the West Coast do seem to be getting better. Richmond Adelaide. Adelaide to win. I'm going to go like 25 points approximately. Yeah, there's not much else to say, really. Yes. Maybe 25 points is being nice, but I predict Richmond to actually try something, give it a go, but still lose. I just don't think they'll lose by 60 or whatever, but they'll lose. And Freo, I think, will beat St Kilda. Yeah, you just can't really trust St Kilda, can you? You can't really trust them. They do play well in some games. They play well against Collingwood. But they made too many errors in the end. But, they also lost to West Coast. So I just can't see them winning that game. Then again, Freo do lose games they should win. Freo do that. So you never know. But I'm going to stick with that. And I have realized that I've not taken a single risk. You know what that means? That means I'm going to change one. Sydney. I've done it 2 weeks in a row now. 2 weeks in a row I tipped against Sydney. Then I tipped them to take a risk. Screw it. We'll go for the gamble. Even though the Bulldogs should beat them. I'm not trusting Carlton. I don't think Melbourne are winning away at Gold Coast, even though Gold Coast are not in good form right now. North could beat Hawthorn, but I'm not going to back against my guys in this game. Unless we're playing Collingwood or Geelong or Brisbane, or Adelaide away, against anyone else, I'm going to consider at least tipping my team, especially against 16th. I don't trust West Coast at all in that game, or in most games. I don't trust Richmond enough in that game. And I don't trust St Kilda at all. So Sydney I have a little bit of trust in, because they are still a team that reached the grand final last year. For them it's a confidence issue, not a quality of player issue. They got the players to win games. They got smashed in 2 grand finals in 3 years. Of course they're going to be bad, because they got no confidence in them. They've got the quality there. The quality's there. They just need a boost. They need a mental boost. So that's why I'm going to put my trust in them. And I feel like this number's as high as it is because of their win against Port Adelaide the previous week. But They're still a sleeping giant. They were grand finalists twice in the last 3 years. They got smashed in both of them. That hurts you. It hurts you up here, okay? But they're in there somewhere. That team that were finalists last year, they're still in there. Somewhere they're still in there. Maybe they wake up in this game. I don't know. But yeah, there you go. Those are my tips. This is your boy Davidoff. Please like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a good day and goodbye.
Let's take it slow. Where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take it